Good evening. Welcome to the Liberty University of ChaBaD. My name is Andre Page, and I am a prophet of Elohim. This class is the history and the introduction to the Hebrew Israelites, and the topic tonight is why the Sabbath, or what is the Sabbath? The Sabbath is the day that the Most High gave to the Israelites to worship on, or a day of rest, which we will establish, or that was established back in Genesis, even before the Torah or the commandments or the laws of instruction and direction were given, which is what Torah means. Before Moses or the Mosaic law was given, the Sabbath was already set in place in the creation story, or in the order of creation back in Genesis, the 2nd chapter. Just a little bit of history of what has happened as far as the Israelites worshiping on Saturday. When we talk about the Hebrew Israelites, we're not talking about a religion. We're not talking about a denomination. We're talking about a nation of people, or a nation of God's chosen people that he specifically chose to represent him here in the earth. Israelites being a representation of Africans, Americans, and Native Indians. Where did this derive from? It derives from one of our patriarchs in the Old Testament. We have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel after he fought with an angel, if you read in Genesis, the book of beginnings. And then from there we have his 12 sons, and then those 12 sons each became a tribe. So therefore you have the 12 tribes of Israel, or the Israelites. Hebrew is the language, Israelite is the nation. That's why they're called Hebrew Israelites. When I talk about the Hebrew Israelites, I'm not talking about the black Hebrew Israelites or the white Hebrew Israelites, because the Israelites come in all shapes, all colors, from the darkest dark like Sidney Poitier to the lightest light like Alicia Keys or General Colin Powell. So there's different shades in between. So it's not a black thing or a black power thing when we talk about the Hebrew Israelites. So back to the Sabbath. The Sabbath is the Most High's day of rest, and it was changed by Constantine in the maybe the 3rd, 4th, maybe the 5th century, when Constantine began to change the face of the Israelites, or change the face of those that worshipped Elohim and the Most High. Constantine is the father, or basically the foundation of Christianity. And Constantine was a pagan, and so he brought paganistic ritualism into the into Christianity, or mixed it together and began to intertwine it together with Sylvester II, which was the Pope of Rome at the time, who solidified it or signified it with his approval. So the Saturday or Sabbath worship was changed to Sunday to appease paganistic sun gods. One that is referred to as most times is the sun god Ra. And what we will do is we will do a complete study on sun gods in one of the class sessions so that people can understand where Sunday came from. Sunday is a representation and a worship to the sun god. Okay? When we talk about the sun god, we talk about, when you do a study on the sun god, just a brief summary. The winged sun was an ancient 3rd millennium, like I said, 3rd millennium or before Christ, or 3rd century symbol of the Horus, or Ra, which is the sun god. It's also known as the sky deity, that represents the sun, and men looked to the sun and perceived that, and looked at it as perception, or perceived it as power and strength. Okay, sun worship can be found throughout most of recorded history, so it's not something that is just coming to the surface that we're talking about. Even before Christianity, even before Jesus Christ, they were worshiping the sun god in various forms. It's all throughout history, throughout through different aspects. It goes. The sun gods go by different names, which are too numerous or too time consuming to even tell you the titles of them, which we will spend a session and a time discussing some of the sun gods. Many beliefs have been formed around the worship of the sun god. Okay, listen to that. Many beliefs. So I pose a question, and I don't think for anybody, I just pose the question. So we have the sun god, and then we have the son of God. We have the sun god, and then we have the son of God, which Christianity, most Christians, Catholicism, which was founded on Catholicism, Roman Catholicism to be distinct, and then Protestantism follows Roman Catholicism, and Constantine changed the Sabbath, Saturday, or the seventh day, to Sunday worship. And that's where you get your church and the different things that people do on Sunday. That's where it's derived from. So actually, Christians, or those that are in church, Catholics, Protestants, anyone that names the name of Christ or Christianity, very well could be, and I just say this, very well could be worshiping a sun god, thinking that they're worshiping the Son of God, which Jesus Christ is referred to. But I'll let you ponder that in your heart as I give you some scriptures and as I speak to the nation of Israel in concerning the Sabbath. My take, or my stance, is that Israel is Israel, regardless of if they're church. Most African Americans go to church on Sunday, and they are still considered Israel as far as I'm concerned. Most Mexican Americans go to church or are in Catholicism, and as far as I'm concerned, they're Israel. Now, when we talk about the Indians is a whole nother group or ethnicity or culture of people. And I don't know too many Indians that have churches, even though I preached on an Indian, what do you call it? An Indian reservation. I actually preached on an Indian reservation, and they were church. But in all actuality, because I have moved into Hebrewism and the Hebraic, and I am understanding my true identity as a Hebrew Israelite, some of the things that they did during that church service, Christians frowned at, but I understand kind of their flow. Even though they were church, they were still mixing some Israelite characteristics in their church service, because you know that they refer to their God as grandfather or father. So that's a whole nother class and another session also that we'll go deep into as we talk about Africans, we talk about Mexicans, and we talk about Indians. Let's look at Bereshit, which is Genesis in Hebrew, in the second chapter, where the Most High lays the foundation, or lays it, or it's implemented in the creation story. Thus the heaven and the earth, this is chapter 2, and I'm reading from the Tanakh, which is the Holy or the Old Testament scriptures. So the verses flow differently, or as if they're numbered, sometimes they flow differently than the King James Version or some of the later versions of the Bible. When I talk about the Torah, I'm talking about the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That is called the Torah. Torah is instructions and directions. That's what the definition of Torah is. And Torah is Hebrew for instructions, direction, or laws of the Most High. But even before the Mosaic law, or before Moses was even given the law, in Deuteronomy, in Exodus, and in Leviticus, we see that the Most High had already established the Sabbath. Thus the heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. By the 7th day, God completed his work which he had done, and he abstained on the 7th day from all his work which he had done. God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because on it he abstained from all his work which God created to make. So God abstained, even God rested. And so he sanctified it, which means sanctification means he's set apart. The Most High God, Elohim, is also referred to as the set apart one. And so the Israelites are a set apart people, so we're adhering to the set apart one. He sanctified the 7th day. He abstained from work, he rested, and he sanctified it. So this was laid out in Genesis, which blew me away. I mean, really, because I had never thought of it this way. I know that we'll see in Exodus how it's one of the actual 10 Commandments. Let's go there. Exodus, the 20th chapter, starting with verse 8. Well, no, let's just read the 10 Commandments. So because when we talk about the 10 Commandments, we're talking about things that we should be adhering to. Okay? And I want you to see the full picture. When we talk in Hebraic thought, we look at content, context, chronological placement, chronological order. So, chapter 20 in Exodus. The 10 Commandments. God spoke all these statements saying, I am Hashem, your God. Hashem is Hebrew for the name. Okay? Who is taking you out of the land of Egypt from the house of slavery. You shall not recognize the gods of others in my presence. I mean, that was the first commandment. You shall not recognize any other gods or recognize the gods of others in my presence. So when we begin to talk about the Sabbath, worshiping the true one and true God, Elohim, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, then here we see this first commandment saying we are not to worship any other gods. So when we talk about Sunday, and we talk about sun worship, and we talk about sun gods, plural, we talk about the sun god Ra, isn't that worshiping other gods? Yeah. You shall not recognize the gods of others in my presence. You shall not make yourself a carved image, nor any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or on the earth below, or in the water beneath the earth. You shall not prostrate yourself to them, nor worship them. For I am Hashem your God, a jealous God, who visits the sin of fathers upon children to the 3rd and 4th generation for my enemies, but who shows kindness for thousands of generations to those who love me and observe my commandments. So Israel, nation of Israel, to those that observe my commandments, he shows kindness, he shows love to those that love him and observe his commandments. You shall not take the name of Hashem your God in vain, for Hashem will not absolve anyone who takes his name in vain. So there you have it again. So here's another commandment which talks about not taking his name in vain. So Hashem strictly means the name. And there is study and background. I believe the Hasidics, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on it. You know, I'm learning just like everybody else, and I humbly submit these videos and submit these teachings because I don't know anything. I'm learning just like you, but I believe in reciting. I believe in repeating, which is Hebraic thought. When we meditate, I share the meditation of what the Most High has given me as I recite, as I repeat what his word says, to where it is written on the tablet of my heart. It bypasses my mind and is written on the tablet of my heart, where I believe a lot of the Israelites, or the nation of Israel, is stuck in the mind and really has not written the Most High's commandments on their heart. Remember the Sabbath day to sanctify it. 6 days shall you work and accomplish all your work, but the seventh day is Sabbath. To Hashem your God you shall not do any work. You, your son, your daughter, your slave, your maidservant, your animal, and your convert within your gates. For in 6 days Hashem made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and he rested on the seventh day. Therefore Hashem blessed the Sabbath day and sanctified it. So we see here once again that the Most High, which is the fourth commandment, the Sabbath, okay, this day serves as a constant reminder that God is the creator who created for 6 days and rested on the seventh. Sabbath observance bears testimony to this concept, and it's a command, and if you truly love him, then you will keep his commandments. It's the fourth commandment. Even before the fourth commandment, he established it as a commandment. He included it in the creation story of when he created the world. He created everything in 6 days, and then he established and abstained and rest. So who are we not to if we are serving the one and true Elohim, the mighty one, the set apart one, the enlightened one? Let's go to Exodus 31, the 31st chapter, starting with verse 12 through 15. Hashem said to Moses, now you speak to the children of Israel, saying, okay, now God is speaking to Andre, is speaking to the nation of Israel. Now, you speak to the children of Israel through YouTube, through cyberspace, through the internet, the nation of Israel, all those that adhere or all those that go to listen to these teachings, he's speaking to you. If you're African, if you're Mexican, if you're a native Indian, then he's speaking to you. However, you must observe my Sabbaths. He's saying you must observe my Sabbaths. He's not making a suggestion. He's not saying voluntarily do it. He's not giving us choice to do it. He's saying we must do it. Must implies you're going to do it. You have to do it. There's no other way out of it. And if you don't do it, it could incur a penalty. The reason I say it could incur a penalty because we live in a Babylonian system, or the American system, or Egypt, however you want to represent, or whatever representation those that don't serve Elohim in their world. Their world is known as the Babylonian system, the Egyptian system. America is known as a Babylonian system, or baby Babylon, a little Babylon. But those that are that don't coincide with this, we as Hebrew Israelites must observe what he says in his word. For it is a sign between me and you for your generations, to know that I am Hashem, who makes you holy. So the Sabbath is not just something that he established, but the Sabbath also in observance makes you holy. Because on Sabbath, you're not supposed to do anything. And I'm going to be transparent with you. I still work sometimes on the Sabbath because I don't want to be sitting up here being hypocritical or acting like I'm holier than thou and I know everything. I work in a hospital. I'm getting ready to find out or getting ready to find out how I can get Sabbath off every day. Which that's a whole different story. But anyway, but you're not supposed to do anything. No TV, no music, no parties, it's just a day set apart for meditation, for worship, for prayer to the Most High God. Because how many of us know? When we work throughout the week, for 6 days, we're moving, we're maneuvering, we're working, we're running, we're jumping, we're schooling, we're bucking, we're going here, we're going there, we're taking care of ourselves, our lives, grocery shopping, the car breaking down, getting the children off to school, getting them prepared, washing clothes, watching TV, listening to music. But the Sabbath is a day, and I'm processing. I like that word. Even I'm processing. The Most High has blessed me with the congregation of ChaBaD, where we observe or we come and we learn Torah. We worship. We meditate on the Torah, which we walk through the Torah in throughout the year. And after I do that, the majority of the time I do go home and I do rest. So it's a process, but. It as the here in Exodus, as it says, it's holiness. Okay, when we talk about holiness, when we talk about being holy, we're just talking about a lifestyle. We're talking about a choice to do what the Most High has commanded us to do according to his Torah, according to his laws, according to his instructions. And you know what? It really is stress-free. I mean, when you observe Sabbath, and you're not inundated with Sunday worship, Sunday church, Sunday ushers, Sunday choirs, Sunday administration, the benevolent offering, the deacons and the ushers and the ministers, and I got to go preach here, I got to go teach there, and conferences and seminars, and some of that stuff can get overwhelming. But when you just set aside Saturday, set aside that seventh day, that Sabbath, and you're free and you're liberated and and you're stress-free, and your mind is not confused and your mind is not entangled and with so many things, then you feel the holiness. For the Most High said, "Be ye holy, for I am holy." And that's what he's calling us to, holiness. And observing the Sabbath processes you and moves you into a place of holiness. Exodus 31:12-15. When he finished speaking to him, for holy, you shall observe the Sabbath, for it is holy to you. Its descendants shall be put to death, for whoever does work on it, that soul shall be cut off from among its people. For 6 days work may be done, and the seventh day is a day of complete rest. I like that. Don't you like that? Complete rest. It is sacred to Hashem. Whoever does work on the Sabbath day shall be put to death. Now, I'm constantly being convicted in my heart when I work on Sabbath, when I work on Saturday, I am convicted. I ask the Most High to have mercy and grace on me. But when this was written in this context, in this culture, and in this day and time, you literally could be put to death for working on the Sabbath. Now that's deep, don't you think? I mean, it's so, Sabbath is so sacred. It's so sacred that you could literally be put to death for working. Wow. I mean, if the Most High is not, if you can't hear that, I mean that's deep. So I'm in the process of asking the Most High to give me favor on my job, to speak to my manager's heart, speak to her heart, and let her know, stop messing with Andre and his Sabbath services. Because right now I'm scheduled to work every other weekend, and I have to find somebody to work for me. At first, for about 3-4 years, I had every Saturday off. But because she said she couldn't find coverage for my shift as a nurse assistant, she started making me work every other Saturday. Isn't that interesting? After the Most High, he shared with me to start the congregation of ChaBaD. So the Most High is going to begin to soften our heart, and it's going to come through, and I'll let you know when it does. So let's look at Exodus 35:12. And I am almost done here. We're going to look at Exodus 35:12. Well, how about 29? I don't know why he gave me that. I'm looking at it and it's not saying anything about the well, let's read oh, here it is. 35:2. Moses assembled the entire, well, starting with verse 1. This is Exodus 35. Start with Moses assembled the entire assembly of the children of Israel and said to them, these are the things that Hashem commanded to do them. On 6 days work may be done, but the seventh day shall be holy for you, a day of complete rest for Hashem. Whoever does work on it shall be put to death. I'm laughing because, I mean, our God is an awesome God. He's a mighty God. He's a just God. He's a merciful God. But he's also a God of discipline, a God of wrath, a God of anger, a God. And this is serious. This Sabbath is serious. So all those that worship on Sunday, and if you ever come into the revelation, if these scriptures convict you, then it's, I mean, personally, as far as I'm concerned, you need to get it right. I mean, as a prophet of the Most High, I am sharing with you, this is something that we have to get right, because there's too many, I don't believe the Most High is pleased with Sunday worship. I don't. I mean, and I say that boldly. I don't. Because it says right here, whosoever does work on it shall be put to death. You shall not kindle fire in any of your dwellings on the Sabbath day. Okay? So, no cooking, no cleaning, no... And I know you're asking, do you do any of that? Sometimes, yes, I do. But remember, we're all processing. This is something fresh, something. It's not new, because the Old Testament, the Holy Scriptures are not anything new. It's just that we need to become more disciplined, and that's my prayer, to become more disciplined, to become more devoted, to be more humble, to be more active in the commandments, exercising the commandments in my life, so that I can have the blessings of Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26, and begin to break some of the curses of Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26 in my life. So there you have it. Those are scriptures in reference to the Sabbath, that it is a sacred and a holy day. It was created in the creation story in Genesis, the 2nd chapter. It was given as a commandment in Exodus. And then it was given strictly, or giving strictly, and it even shared the punishment if this law is broken. There is a penalty that can literally put you in the penitentiary of death, okay, for breaking the Sabbath. So I leave you with that. As Israelites, let's begin to honor the Sabbath. Any questions? You can always call the Liberty University School of ChaBaD, or Liberty University of ChaBaD, area code 916-456-7439. You can contact the Congregation of ChaBaD on Facebook, or Andre Page, AndrePaige, or you can even come visit us on a Sabbath service here in Sacramento, California, 2391 Arden Way, Sacramento, California, here in the city of trees, in the state capital of California. May the Most High continuously bless you. May the Most High continuously keep you. May his face continuously shine upon you. Until we meet again, shalom.